here's my progress for the day. So I just set on my front fenders just to kind of see, you know, what the fit looks like. And the front fenders fit great. So right, those were the holes that I had done before, but you know, these would bolt down really nice and have a good fit. The only one that has difficulty is this back left. You can see there's been some kind of a minor accident here. It appears as though the mount spot is still good, but this part here is pushed in. So I ordered this piece, and I'll probably weld it and try to bend this one. This looks okay, so I'll probably try to bend that out and weld in a new sort of back half of this quarter panel. But you know, it looks decent. The other thing that I did today is I did seam sealer. So I used an entire tube of seam sealer, and you can see here what it looks like. It's a goopy junk that I put both on the top and the bottom, all the way around. You know, everywhere where there's a gap. And that's on both sides, top and bottom. And that used an entire tube, almost exactly an entire tube of the seam sealer. And I got black intentionally just so that it would, you know, match what color I'm gonna paint these, this chassis. So that was a messy job because that goop, you know, I put on rubber gloves and the sheet metal ripped the rubber glove, and then it gets on your fingers, and then you're trying to wash your hands. Doesn't work very well. The other thing that I did today that was a super messy job. So I was working on the front beam. You know, I've taken these guys out, and so my two front torsion arms are good. My spindles are good. I'll even, I think, leave on the these bearing things that are, well, I have to see how it fits, but I think the bearings will fit right on there. And then I got new rubber things here, which will go on there as soon as I start putting these torsion arms back on. But the main progress was scrubbing off this front beam. So I scrubbed it and wire brushed it, and that junk just doesn't want to come off. It's so nasty. And then I found also, when I looked really closely, the snubber, this one was the good one. The snubber on this side, it seemed like it had gotten hit. You see how the edge is off just a little bit there? So I took this hammer and I just whacked it a couple of times to get it roughly centered, roughly equivalent to the other one, and it's still really solidly in place. I thought about hitting that with the welder, but I don't think this snubber is going anywhere. And then, you know, I got as much of the junk off as I possibly could, and then I got two rags, doused them with mineral spirits here, and I just went over this as best I could to get as much of that grease off as possible. Then I used, first of all, this is the primer that I use on anything that's rusty. I just am using this rust reformer. That goes on as kind of a matte black. And then I'm gonna hit it with the gloss enamel. I just use this engine enamel, but that just makes it look shiny. And then I'll be able to remount that on there as soon as I get my rubber piece that is the little rubber seal that goes in between this plate and here, which is in the mail. As soon as I get that, I will go ahead and put this on. So I don't know what that red spot is there, but you know, can't have any of that. So what I do is take this engine enamel. What is that red spot there? Nope. So, you know, the main thing is I just, you know, parts of this is kind of ugly. you know, I wire brushed this. I didn't use the grinder sander or anything. I just wanted to get it sealed. And then I'm gonna put this front beam back on there. This all gets super grimy and nasty anyway, so I just don't care that much. But I wanna get a coat of rust reformer on there. That chemically stops the surface rust from penetrating any deeper. And then I put on the gloss enamel on top of that just to give it a shiny, kind of more water resistant, sort of non-matte feel. So I haven't done any painting back of here. You can see it, that's still the weld-through primer, the white stuff. But you can kind of see now that I got rid of my rusty shell, the 65, and I got this 61, and I got these fenders, and I have a lot less rust to contend with, and it looks good. The one thing that I started looking into was I have the glass for these, they're smaller back quarter windows, and you can see that it had pop outs. The guy took them out, and I now know why he took them out, because you want to get a set of pop outs for these, and it's like $350 to $500 just to get them. So I have the glass. So the question is can I just get a frame kit for that? The thing is, somebody painted on like a really glossy coat of this whitish color, and so, you know, I don't like it to be quite as glossy, and I like, you know, I started just seeing, getting under this little bit of rust here, which I did, you know, there's some rust here that doesn't go too deep, so I should be able to do that just fine and use this. So that's the progress. All right, and that's with the gloss. So, you know, this is I mean, I would call it a little bit of a sloppy and imperfect job, but only because I got, you know, a lot of the grease and stuck on stuff on there, but I didn't like parts wash it in one of those bins or anything like that. I just did what I could, just as a 3 days worth of just grimy wire brushing, and so, you know, I just want to get a coat of something that'll stick to it, and I think it's gonna work great as far as preserving this for another whatever 50 years. This is a 1965, and it's 2022, so, you know, that's you know, 20 it's a 67 years or something like that. No, 60 years would be 2025, so it's going to be 57 years old. So if I can just preserve it for another 57 years, then I'm doing my job. All right.